Awesome. Happy Thursday, guys. I am really excited to kick off this test group with you guys. And we have something fun in front of us. Leah was just saying it. It's a lot of new stuff, but it's a lot of fun new stuff. And so I'm really excited to be diving into this with you guys. And when we started job one, I believe it was in December, we started doing these kickoff calls for groups where we were all doing the same program at the same time so that we could make the most out of the experience, and truly get the results that we desire when we're coming into this. So if you don't know me, I'm pretty certain when I'm looking around that everybody knows me, but I'm Brittany. Hi. I am also so exhausted today. So if I sound delirious or if I make zero sense, just bear with me. In the chat, I'd love for you to drop as we welcome people in. Grace wants in my lap. Just drop in the chat, why are you here? Why did you say yes to gut protocol? Why did you say yes to doing this program, this test group? What made you say yes? Why are you here? Share that with us in the chat, please. And let's just kind of see what brings us all together. Ashley says she wants to feel good, less bloated, more energy. Yes, yes, and yes. I'm feeling that too. Chelsea is ready to feel better. These last stubborn 8 pounds that will not seem to go away, wants to shed those. Annie has always had stomach issues as long as she can remember, and hoping she can identify some sensitivities. I love it. Kristen, lots of gut issues, didn't really know where to start. And then this was announced and figured it would be a good start, right? Yeah. Leah is doing this with her husband. I love that. Both having some food sensitivity and want to know what's causing it. Margot loves this idea of learning about food sensitivities, what affects her. Yeah, I know, more energy. Hello. Leah, why is so simple? We've been accepting the things, right? The moodiness, the bloating, the gas, and just wanted to feel better. And her husband, Eric, wants to figure out food sensitivities and gassiness. Ashley, her mom, hey Dan, says she wants to see how food reacts to how she reacts to certain foods and have more energy. Nicolette, I'm really excited to dive into nutrition, feel less exhausted, see if it clears up skin rashes I've noticed after having kids. Very interesting. I love that skin is going to be something you're looking at, Nicolette, so you'll have to keep us updated for that. Kristen, her mom is doing this too, and has had a hard time losing weight, gut issues as well. Okay, and you can keep dropping them if I missed anybody, but yeah, I'm seeing a common theme here that we want more energy. We want to just get curious about our journeys. And I think like that makes me the most excited, is that there's a lot of us that just want to get curious, right? Because knowledge can be power, but knowledge when you take action is even more powerful, right? So we're getting some newfound knowledge. And then after these 4 weeks, we will have a new like skill set in our toolbox that will then be able to go forward and make better decisions for ourselves, right? So then when we go into May, June, July, we remember, oh, you know what? This is why I don't have energy right now. I've been eating a lot of X, Y, or Z, right? And so we can figure this out. Jennifer has had gut issues since her teenage years. Wow. Okay. And that's a huge thing we've been talking about too, is like, we tolerate this stuff. We act like it's just the way it's supposed to be. And so I'm excited for us to kind of see maybe if there's a better way. Hoping it will help me feel better from the inside out. Yes, more energy. Hello. Thank you. Can't wait to see how it helps her psoriasis, says Leah. Awesome. Really quick, you guys, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so I want you to remember that as you're going through here, there might be in the very beginning of this group, a little detox phase. Yeah, especially if you've been eating a lot of processed foods, a lot of sugar, maybe foods that are less natural, right? And so there might be a little bit of that detox phase where you get headaches or you lose a little energy at first to then try to gain the energy back. I want you to know that that's normal and to stick through that, because on the other side of that, like inconvenience, right? That discomfort, that annoyance is going to be answers to all these things that you're wondering about. But we do have to get through that. There will most likely be an uncomfortable first week or first beginning stage for everyone. And I just want you to anticipate that that's normal. and be mentally prepared for that. I think that's one of the biggest things for me is I have to be ready for the voice in my head that's going to tell me to stop or give in, right? And I have to be ready for how I'm going to combat that. So I want you guys to consider that too. When the voice in your head is like, man, I just want the freaking donut in the break room, or I just would love this glass of wine after a long day at work. How are you going to combat it? You know, for me, my husband, he's training to go to Europe here in a couple of weeks on this like epic bike ride that he's been training for, but he doesn't ever feel like training and doing his rides in the morning. But then he gets home from work and he really doesn't want to do his 90-minute, 2-hour training rides. And so that's one of the things he's been combating is in the morning when he's like, I don't feel like doing my workout right now. He has to remind himself, I feel better all day long when I do this. And I would much rather do it now than when I get home from work. And so there's those are the sorts of like examples of like that self-talk that you're going to have to start working on and mastering, because there will be times I'm certain that your brain will convince you to just go back to eating whatever it was you were eating in the first place, right? Okay, really quick. I'm not the only brains behind this operation. I kicked you guys off for prep week. If you're newer into the bod group, make sure you go back through. There's a lot of information in prep week, and there won't be 2 posts a day throughout the rest of this. There will only be 1 post in the morning, like most of you are used to seeing in our bod groups. But this particular group, there's a lot of prep information. So I had some of these days, there's like 2 posts every day, like a morning and an afternoon or evening. So make sure you're going back through there and reading through those, because they all matter in some way, shape, or form. But I want to make sure that I introduce the other gals that are going to be taking the mic, because I won't be on the mic anymore after this week. So next week we have week 1 is Ashley, right? Ashley, cool. And then week 2, we've got Leia. Week 3 is going to be Annie. And then week 4, Kristen is going to round us out and wrap us up. So I would love to go in that order. And can you ladies introduce yourself for a second and share something? I don't know, give us a little wisdom, a little encouragement. Ashley, you want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Hello, I'm Ashley. So excited that we're all in this together. I think I'm most excited because I feel like I haven't had really like the all-in like total like nutrition thing going on since I was with Kristen for 80-day obsession, and this like kicking me back to my New York City days. Kristen's mom is actually joining us too, and I'm really excited, you guys, because I have my mom here. My dad is also here in the house. He's doing it with us. Kristen's mom lives in the same town that we grew up in, so she's joining us for our workouts. Like, we have a plan. We're meeting Kristen this weekend and like doing our grocery prep and our meal planning, and that is like something that just makes me so excited, because I just love that we are all in this together in a big group. And so my sister-in-law is also doing it with us, but I feel like we're taking it back to the basics with this, and like I'm super excited to see how we're all feeling. And I guess one of my like things of encouragement is to just like stick with your plan throughout the week. I know, like I said, I've never done anything like this, but I'm kind of referring back to 80-day obsession and how I felt a little bit overwhelmed looking at the different meal plans and such. But I just keep telling myself how good I felt as I kept going and how it just became like a regular pattern. So I think once we get through this first week, like it's all gonna kind of fall into place and we're gonna get in a rhythm, and like the best way to do it is together. So please just come into the group if you have questions, or like you're feeling frustrated or something's like not clicking. Like, there's so many resources and we're here to help you be successful, and we're all in this together, and nobody's expecting to be like perfect. I know we're gonna obviously try this week to do our very best at like getting all of our containers and such, but if you miss something, like don't be hard on yourself, give yourself some grace. This is like something new that we're all starting together. And this is why we're here, to just like lean on each other and come into the group and like say what went well. And maybe like if something didn't go so well, like what we can do to help you just like get back on track. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it.
I love that. Autumn says in one of her initial videos, she talks about that like, it might be the week 1 welcome video, like that, you know, if you get off, like come, like just hop back on, right? It's that whole like Jillian Michaels, like just because one tire blows out doesn't mean you need to walk around the car and slash the other three, So just because, dinner didn't go so well, okay, go to bed, get a good night's rest, wake up and start over in the morning, right? Or maybe lunch didn't go so well, but you have a second chance before the day's even over. So like block your days into segments too. And if the morning wasn't great or the afternoon wasn't great, you still have the power to turn that around before the day's over. And you have us to lean on, not for any sort of shaming purposes, but just for support. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. Who's next? Who's week 2? Leah.
I am. I was sitting here listening to Ashley and then to Britt, and I kept thinking, okay, well, they said it, but you know what? I'm not going to do that because we can't hear it too many times. We're not alone. I don't know about any of y'all, but I've got that anxiety thing happening inside of me. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not hesitant. I think it's I know Autumn's not going to lead me down the wrong path. And more than that, because I don't personally know Autumn, I know my crew, and I know these ladies here that you're looking at right now have our backs, and we truly are better together. Ashley said it. You have questions, please come in and ask, because I can assure you somebody else has that same question. It's not, I'm going back to my subbing days, and it's not a stupid question. Please ask. I probably have the same question. I'm going to be asking questions. I'm nervous about meal planning. As far as myself, yes, I've been with Beachbody since 2016. I'm going to just throw it out there to you ladies who were awesome enough to give up an hour of your time in the afternoon or evening. I have never followed a nutrition plan with Beachbody from start to finish of a program, except the Ultimate Reset. So one program in those 6 years that I have focused on the nutrition. And personally, I want to know what happens. I want to see those results. I stood on that scale this morning because when I was in that video last night to go back into that post to answer what plan, I was on the airplane. And when Autumn said, I don't want you to guess your weight, pause this, go stand on the scale, come back. I shut the video off on the airplane and moved to another one, got up this morning, peed, the first thing in the morning, and stood on the scale. Did I like the number? Not really. But you know what? I just had 5 days in paradise, and I'm okay with that because I know Autumn even joked with us the first morning, and she said, how many people are excited about the 4-week gut protocol? Everybody screamed. And she goes, how many people really think like they're going to need it after this? We screamed even louder. It's for real. Better together. We're here together. Let's do this. Meal plans. I'm nervous about those too, because this is all new for me. But if you find a great recipe and maybe we didn't put it in the meal plan, share it. Sharing is caring, people. Sharing is caring. You find a yummy sweet treat. I'm a sweetaholic. Share it. I want to know. Okay. I don't want to ramble. That's it. Annie, I think you're next, week 3. Okay.
I sure am. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Annie. I am a full-time teacher. And I was going to say something kind of similar to Leah, because nutrition has always been my weakest point. If you follow me on Instagram and you saw my post the other day, I love salty and savory things and I can't get enough of them. And I've always been really bad about eating too much and not like stopping myself. So I'm really looking forward to getting in a nutrition routine. And also, like Leah said, just seeing like what can happen when I stick to it. The goal is for my husband to do it with me. We watched the videos and he's not very gung-ho about it anymore, but I'm still going to try because I feed him. So he has to eat what I make. But I was also going to say that all of us, this is the first time all of us are doing this. and kind of like what Leah and Ashley have said is like, we have questions too, and we're figuring it out right along with you. So just because you're not putting the posts in for the day or like quote unquote leading the group, you are piloting this right alongside of us. And so like, we're going to have questions, and if you find an answer, feel free to drop it in, as opposed to for everybody, and vice versa. So don't be afraid to, I guess, bring your own expertise if you find something that no one else has found, because this is a pilot for all of us.
All right. Hey, ladies, I'm Kristen. For those of you who know me, who have come to me, you know that I am an accountability queen with nutrition. And I'll be honest, this scared me today when I watched the videos, because it's different. I have done Portion Fix to a T with Ashley during 80-Day Obsession. And I think that that was really something that harnessed like our success, because as a coach, I was like, oh God, like I can't mess up, because then like she's going to mess up, you know? And it was just that accountability piece that helped me stick to the program to truly see what I was capable of, because nutrition was the one thing that I just was never really, I would let myself cheat. I would let myself fail because nobody else knew what I was doing. So if you can find like one person in the group that like when we're posting, you really like feel like you connect with, like find that one person amongst all of us that can really support you, and you guys can be that accountability buddy. I think that is so helpful, because like I remember Ashley telling me one night, she's like, I had some raisins, and I was like, girl, like you had some dang raisins, like it's not going to kill you, you know? But you know, like I think Ash said, you know, like this first week is going to be hard, because if you haven't done Portion Fix, this may seem like a lot of food to you, and it's going to take time for your body to like need all those nutrients. So like, it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. So just like, remember that. So I think accountability is huge. You find that person that you feel like you really super like connect one-on-one with in our group, like lean into each other and like be that person for each other. The other thing I can say about meal prep, Ashley talked about it, how we would like scurry around New York City, and now we're going to do that here in Wisconsin. But meal prep in bulk. So like, we didn't find a new dinner for every night of the week. We found like 2 dinners, and we made enough for like to get us through that week. So, you know, like find a recipe and like, oh my God, I love this, like stuffed bell pepper with like chicken. I think we just doubled the recipe so that we would each have enough for like 2 dinners throughout the night. And then we made another one that maybe gave us each 3 dinners. So like, don't think that you have to find like a breakfast for every day, a lunch for every day, a dinner for every day. Like find 2 maybe of each, and then just double the recipe and just bulk prep, because that's going to save you a lot of headache of like, oh my God, I have, what would that be? Like 15 meals to make. That's definitely going to throw you over. So if you can go through those recipes and just find a couple for each, prep that way. That's going to save you a lot of headache.
I love it. And we're going to get into that's a huge part of this, obviously, of this program, is the meal planning and just understanding what you're going to eat and how that fits into your particular plan. We're going to go over that. And so I'm sure that there will be more stuff to add in when we do that. So real quick, show of hands. This is just so I have an idea. Who has watched all of the intro lesson videos? There's 4 of them. Who's watched them? Okay. And then if I can't see you, you can drop in the chat. Okay. So those are going to be so important for you to watch. The first 3 are 6-ish minutes each. Okay. So they're all, the first 3 are pretty quick. And then the last one is 10 minutes. Okay. So it's less than a half hour if you combine them all together, but they're going to be very, very crucial to everything. I'm going to give a quick rundown of the videos and just a Cliff Notes version so that we're kind of all on the same page right now, but you definitely want to go in and hear Autumn speak about it. And truly, I watched them multiple times because she'd say something and I'd pause and I'd take notes and I'd come back. And there's just some things that are, again, they're newer for me when I'm hearing them. So they don't just like, I don't process it as quickly. I have to listen to it again. So don't feel like, if you listen to it the first time and you're like, I don't get it, that there's like no hope for you, right? Ask the questions, rewatch, take the notes. We're here to help. So the first video is the 4 R's, and she talks about removing the foods we're going to remove. So we're removing gluten, dairy, corn, highly processed soy, alcohol, and artificial sweeteners. Okay, let me break down gluten. I know so many companies now have like gluten-free options of like crackers and this and that. Those are off limits. When it's gluten-free, there's 2 things we're looking at. You can buy gluten-free bread and you can buy gluten-free pasta, but like, don't go buy gluten-free goldfish, right? Or like gluten-free cookies. That's not the idea of what we're trying to do here. The reason being is she tells you more in depth in the video, but they add other ingredients in to compensate, which then might be not as beneficial for your gut health. Yeah. So you want to really stick to just the gluten-free bread and gluten-free pasta when we're looking at that. When it comes to dairy is pretty straightforward. I think we get that. Corn is pretty straightforward. Highly processed soy, what does that mean? If you are vegetarian, vegan, or enjoy like meat-free products, animal-free products, like Impossible Burgers, those are gone. That's not an option. The ones that you can eat that are soy would be like tempeh and tofu. Those are on limits. And like edamame, soybeans you can have. Yeah. But anything that's like an Impossible meat or Beyond Meat, those are gone, which is really sad for me. Alcohol is pretty self-explanatory, except kombucha. If you're familiar with kombucha, it's a fermented situation. And because of that, there are very trace amounts of alcohol in kombucha. And that's okay. Kombucha is actually on the list of things you can have. And also she talked about extracts. So we know, like, I don't know if you know, but in like a vanilla extract, a pure extract, there are trace amounts of alcohol also in that. That's okay, because you're only using a little bit. Okay. So just so that we're all kind of caught up on that, of what that looks like. So remove is the number 1 thing. And after those 4 weeks are done, she's going to teach us how to add them back in to understand what's really happening with our bodies, right? So we'll add back in alcohol and then we're going to feel it out. Has anyone ever done Whole30 before, the program Whole30? No. So Whole30, if you've never done it before, it does this as well. For 30 days, you basically eliminate things. And then after the 30 days are over, you don't just go buck wild, but you one at a time put things back in, right, Diane? I know. I could see Ashley already on day 31. You don't go crazy on day 31 and just start eating all the things. You put one thing in at a time so that it's like a science experiment, right? You have to figure out, you can't put in 7 things because then you don't know which one is the thing causing the effect, right? So we want to make sure we put it in back. So removal. Here's the deal though. This is not a diet plan. Like, we're not like depriving ourselves and dieting and restricting. Like, it can be really easy to like be on that line, like teeter on that edge where you are like, I'm on a diet, this sucks. I love the second R because the second R is replace. Okay. And really that's the big thing here, is we're only getting rid of 6 things. It's not a lot of things. And we're replacing it with probably a lot of things that you've never tried before. Okay. One of the things that she's going to talk about in video 2, when you watch it, the add it in video, she's talking about things we add in to help nourish our bodies and then support that gut balance. And the diversity of plants in your diet is a huge thing. So we're aiming for 30 different plants every week, which sounds like a lot, but think about it. If you do spinach, romaine, and arugula, that's already 3 plants. And, so like if you had like a spring mix and it has different greens in it, those all count. If you use cilantro or dill or basil on something, that's a plant, right? Nuts count as plants. So fruits as plants. So it's actually not as challenging. And if you stick to your the way you plan and track, you're going to get that in easily. Okay. She talks about the third R is replenishing. That's where our supplements come in. Who here was able to get their hands on these beauties, the Revitalize and Optimize? Who was able to get that? Yeah. Some did, some did not. And it's okay if you don't have it. The point of these, Optimize is helping with our digestion and Revitalize is pre and probiotic. And so it's helping basically to keep the flora in balance in your gut. But those two supplements are important. Those she breaks down when you have them. You're going to be having your Optimize. It's a bigger container because you have this one before every meal. Okay. And then the Revitalize is just before breakfast. Okay. And again, if you don't have these, an interesting thing to do because they sold out, it would be interesting to do this and do it without the first go around. And then at some point when you want to try this again, try it with, and just like a science experience, see how your body reacts. Did it make a difference, right? Having these supplements versus not. The other supplement that we're doing is vegan Shakeology. Vegan Shakeology. And that is going to be, we're eating a very whole food-based diet, and there's going to be a lot of nutrients in what you're eating. Between that and between this, Shakeology is like, it again helps your body meet its nutritional needs. Okay. So it fills in any sort of cracks that might be there. And so for this program, we definitely need the vegan. A couple other things that you can have. You can have, some of you guys, if you bought, they may have given you some sticks of Energize, or you may have some on hand. You can have Energize, yes, on this program. Foods to reduce. If you want to write this down and you haven't watched the things yet, caffeine, she's saying no more than 3 8-ounce cups per week. Okay, but you can have your Energize, and green tea is okay as well. Okay, so, and she gives there's a video on the Gut Protocol that gives the green tea latte recipe. She does like oat milk that looks super yummy. So you can try making that matcha latte. Yep. Added sugars are foods to reduce. This has been a question that's asked a lot. Like, can I add honey or maple syrup into my shake? Things like that. Can I sweeten it? Yes, but it needs to be 10 grams a day and under. Fruit is not added sugar. Fruit is not added sugar. It's just when we're looking at things like maple syrup or honey, or like agave, but you cannot be adding artificial sweeteners to things. So that's where like labels are so important. And then the last R is rebalance. And that's kind of where the mind-body connection comes in. And that's why this is so interesting, because we are pairing this with a workout program. Okay. And this program nutritionally is similar in some aspects to the Ultimate Reset, but the Ultimate Reset does not have a workout program truly like to go with it throughout the entire time. So this is really fun. I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to make sure that I'm pointing out all of these resources to you before we move on. So when I go into my Beachbody On Demand and I click on 4-Week Gut Protocol, the lessons that we're referring to, or the videos, are under lessons. So the Start Here tab, you can hear Autumn's gut health story. It's very interesting to hear what was actually happening. And as a fitness and nutrition trainer, she was actually diagnosed as malnourished. And she was malnourished because the amount of stress that was happening on her body and the foods that she was sensitive to, you guys, were causing her body not to actually absorb the nutrients that she thought she was giving it. And so her body was actually malnourished, even though she was eating well. It just, so some of you guys, like maybe you've been eating really, really well and you can't shake these pounds, or things aren't changing or whatever. It could very well be the amount of stress on your body too, and in your life. So that mind-body connection is going to be huge in the rebalancing of this. So here are the 4 videos, the 4 R's: add it in, This calculate your health. We're going to do it here together right now, but you can also go back and watch because you are, like Leah said, going to need to know your exact weight for this. So we can do a guesstimate one together, but yes, you do need to go get on a scale and see what your weight is so that you can actually go back and calculate and make sure it's 100% accurate. And then the colorful eating habit, she's going to walk you through how to get, you know, that entire rainbow of 30 plants and just looking at what we are eating within the program. Okay. So that's where all that stuff is. Why don't I'm gonna do, let's see, I think it's under resources. We're gonna calculate our health. Can you guys see it? Even though I switched, cool. Let me just move y'all out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna calculate our health. So you can grab a calculator, cell phone, or you can do pen and paper. So you're gonna take your current weight and you multiply that by 11. So current weight times 11. If you want to maintain your weight, this is the number you're going to stop at. If you're at a place where you're like, I'm not trying to lose weight, I want to maintain, or potentially, well, we'll talk about gain here in a second, but you want to maintain, you're going to stop at your caloric baseline. If you want to lose weight during this program, you're going to take that caloric baseline that you just found, your weight times 11, and you're going to subtract 400 from it, and that's your calorie target. And if you are trying to build muscle, it says, be aware you'll be putting weight on at this target level. So you'd be gaining weight. Your 5th day of movement should include weights, 9-week control freak, lift 4, 645, something with weights should be a 5th day of movement. And to figure out your target, you're going to do that caloric baseline that you found in the first one, your weight times 11, and then you're just going to bump up a plan. Does that make sense? Does everybody so far? I'm looking around. Are we okay? Any questions so far in the chat? I'm going to tell you about how to find the plans here in a second. Okay. Look good. Y'all look good. Okay. Can you guys see the switch that I did? Okay, awesome. So this is also included in your down here. So your hybrid container plans. There's also, if you scroll down, vegan container plans. Okay. Now, the reason these are called hybrid container plans is because this is a hybrid of portion fix and gut protocol. So that's where the hybrid is coming in. These aren't going to be the same numbers as what you see if you're just doing portion fix. So just keep that in mind. They are different. So if you hit your target range was anywhere between 1,200 and 1,499 calories, your plan A. The other thing, you guys, if you fell below 1,200, you bump up and you do plan A, okay? Plan B, 1,500 to 1,799. Plan C, 1,800 to 2,099. Our plan D is 2,100 to 2,299. And then plan E is 2,300 and up, basically. Okay. Does everybody have their plan letter? And if you think that looking at your weight on the scale, like Autumn suggested, is going to give you a more accurate reading and number, please go do that. Yeah. Okay. So once you have your plan, let me go back here. Then you can look at the food lists to start to fill in your plan. Okay. And there's the food list up there, and here's a vegan food list as well. I want to break down a couple things on this plan really quick. She does it in the video, but I just want to make sure that we're all like really up to speed and a-okay with this. Let me open the chat. Will the higher plan affect the weight loss? If Chelsea, can you like just give me a little bit more information? Higher plan, like, are you going to try to bump up a plan?
Yeah, it's kind of easier for me to unmute. So, Britt, I fell under plan A. So, since I fell under plan A, I'm bumping up. So, isn't that going to affect me
won't.
losing weight? No?
It,
Okay.
it won't. So she explains this in portion fix because I also bump under that as well. And she explains it in that, but you don't need to try to take containers away. No. Okay, so in each plan, your green,
Britt.
you guys, oh,
Do you mind if I pop in for a second?
yeah, go for it.
So the reason that is, Chelsea, is because you still need like a healthy caloric baseline is not less than 1,200 calories. So that's where like that number comes in. And that's why she has you. So if anybody falls below, or if there's anybody that is above that 2,500, they're going to follow that closest plan, because you need to actually have that. You can't have less than 1,200, because then you're not going to be getting all the nutrients that your body actually needs to fuel it with the workouts, even though they're low impact with what we're doing. So this is how your body is going to get that. And then the same if they're like at that top plan, like even if that number is still over that 2,500, they just need to follow that plan. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that was way better an explanation than what I did. Thank you. Okay, so your containers, we've gotten, I'm certain that the majority of you guys have gotten these in the mail a million times at this point, and you're so sick of this, and they probably have ended up in your children's toy box. Or the moms are laughing because they know it's true. In your children's toy box, the sandbox, or you have put them so far back in your cupboard that you don't even know where the lids are for them anymore, right? It's like one of those situations. Yeah. So we're going to go through these. So the green is, these are pretty self-explanatory, but I want to make sure we all understand. The green is your veggies, and there's little stickers, you guys, that when you get your containers, you can put your stickers on them, make sure they're labeled, make sure you know. Green is your veggies. Your purple is your fruits. Your red A, there's a red A and a red B in this plan. Okay, this is not a vegan plan or a vegetarian plan, but in healing your gut, you are going to, my meat eaters, all my carnivores out there, you are going to significantly reduce the amount of meat you are ingesting, animal meat, animal product, okay? And your red B proteins are more of a vegan, vegetarian-based diet. They're plant-based. So you're getting your A proteins from your animal base, your B proteins are coming from your plant base. Does that make sense? Are we clear on that? I'm seeing head nods. Just want to make sure we understand. So you are removing some meat. Yellow A are carbohydrates that are, I don't want to say better for you. They're just simpler. Okay. And then your yellow B are your starchy ones, like more breads and potatoes, sorts of carbs. Yes. Okay. Blue is healthy fats like guacamole, hummus, and orange is going to be seeds and dressings. Teaspoons are oils and nut butters. So once you have your plan, you know how many of each container you get every day. Yeah, guac and roll. You know how many you get each day in that category. Okay. So when we then go look, nope. Then when we look at our food lists, I'm going to just click on the, not the vegan, but I'm going to click on the regular food list. You can see what is in a green container. Okay. The top of the list are the ones typically that she is going to say, give you the most bang for your buck. All of them on the list are acceptable to use, but the ones more towards the top are more maybe nutrient dense or just have more fiber in it, just right? Things like that might be better for your gut health. If you see PB, that stands for prebiotic. Okay, so those are very a good source of fuel for you. And then if you see an asterisk next to it, that just means that it doesn't fit into the container. So you do the number that it says. For example, 10 spears of asparagus equals 1 green container. Capiche? When we get down to things like red containers, you'll see your red A list and your red B list. Okay, your red A list is going to be all kinds of different meat. Now, over here, you want to make sure that you're reading through this. Okay, red meat is on the list, but should be limited to 1 time per week. So your red meats are all of the ones right here. That's what she's considering red meat, okay? You also won't find dairy products on the list. Remember, Greek yogurt, and if you've done Portion Fix before, Greek yogurt was a red container. Not here, because Greek yogurt is dairy. So you won't see any dairy products on this list. Remember, because dairy can cause sensitivity, so it's one of those R's that's removed. Okay, coconut yogurt will be on the blue list. So if you do want a little yogurt parfait situation, that would be 1 blue for the yogurt, and then however you top it, you'd have to pull from that category. Anything that has an arrow is a possible additional food to look at eliminating. For example, Autumn has sensitivities with eggs, and a lot of people do. So you could consider taking that out. She says in the videos to just be mindful of how you feel after you eat it. And if you feel really bloated, try taking it out and see what happens. This is a really fun experiment we're doing, you guys. So it's all about testing out how foods are making you feel. So we actually have to be like a little bit aware over the next 4 weeks and kind of mindful of all that. So more plants, less animal protein. Okay, so your red bees are that. And it looks like she indicates here that you're taking out things like burger patties, right? Like we talked about Impossible. And you're adding in vegan Shakeology works, tempeh, tofu. If you have a different protein powder, you can use that. Beans, lentils, edamame, peas, refried beans, and quinoa is considered a red as well, okay? Then you've got your 2 different categories of yellow. Whole grains are on the yellow A, things like brown rice, and then your yellow container B contains things like sweet potatoes. This is where your gluten-free bread comes in. This is where your gluten-free pasta comes in. This is where 8 ounces of oat beverage or things like coconut water can come in if you want to add that to your Shakeology. And then you've got your blue list, your orange containers, and your teaspoons, okay? And then there's some free foods. One of the things she's talking about is trying to add at least 1 serving of a fermented food 3 times a week. Your fermented foods have the F next to them. So miso would be something really simple to do, like a miso broth, and have that alongside of your dinner. That's a free food. It'll fill you up anyway while you're eating. Kimchi, I'm going to have to like revisit this. And Autumn talks about this. You're going to like try new things and try things you don't think you like. Kimchi is aggressive. And I think I'm going to try it again and see if my palate is going to take it now. But just try stuff, guys. Have some fun with it, right? And then all of these are, if it doesn't have an F, it's just a freebie, okay? That you can add for flavoring. Talks through coffee and tea here, unlimited things that you can add in, things to avoid, and then things in moderation as well with the sweeteners. She gives you mix-ins and options for your water. You guys, we can have our flat water, regular water. We can also do sparkling water, but she's saying max 8 ounces a day. And make sure that your sparkling water is one of the ones, like it's literally just sparkling water with 0 calories, 0 sugar, nothing added, because there are some brands like the Walmart brand has sugar in it. Okay, so we have to flip our labels over and read and make sure that it doesn't have that added sugar. 8 ounces a day, you guys, just keep in mind, a can is typically 12 ounces. So let's just be mindful of that. Yes, if you're having like a little sparkling water in a wine glass to end the day, just be mindful. You might want to share that can with a loved one. Okay, let me open the chat. Okay. Pomegranate seeds and guacamole are life-changing. Pomegranate seeds, Casey, are life-changing. And you guys, there is a salmon salad that I make that I just put pomegranate seeds on, and it's like the perfect crunch and pop of like, it's so good. And Sprouts sells them, like, you don't need to buy a pomegranate and try to de-seed it. Sprouts sells them like in a little thing. If you have a Sprouts near you, look for them already seeded, like the seed's already out. Leah's going to be taking eggs out. Yes, we're going to be so cultured, Annie. I love it. Do I need to go up in a plan bracket if I'm doing more than 1 workout a day? Ooh, okay. Let's talk about this. So let me go over to, let me go back over to our workouts. She talks about your workouts She talks about your workouts in the second video. She talks about exercise as one of the things we're adding in this program. So when you click on 4 weeks for everybody, you guys, under your program materials, here's your workout calendar that you want to print. I'm going to show you on, I've got all my like little doodads here. You guys, every time I have a workout calendar that I'm focused on, it is printed. It's inside a cheap $5 frame from Target. And then I have a dry erase marker and I check off my days. I hear people tell me, I hear people resist this so often, you guys. And I'm like, do you know that that is one of the dumbest, smallest, most simple things I do that keeps me on track? And when people are like, how are you so consistent? Or how do you stay motivated? I open up my eyes in the morning, I put my contacts in and boom, it tells me I got to do lower body. And so I do lower body. I make it so mindless, right? I don't have to put, I take the guesswork out. So she's going to talk to you about your, she's going to talk to you about the workouts, but one of the things in healing your body, workouts are stressors. Okay. So when you work out, you are putting your body under stress. And we could sit here and we could say there's a good stress, there's a bad stress. We could say all those things. And you'd be right. But just like sometimes your body doesn't know the difference between this sugar and this sugar, it just processes it like sugar. Your body doesn't often know the difference between stress. And so just because it's a good stress because you're doing your workout and you're getting the endorphins going, it's still stress on your body. And part of healing your gut is to lower your stress. That's why this is a low impact workout. That's why it's 4 days a week. That's why it's very gentle on the body. So I'm saying this as like a mom right now to all my children, be mindful. This taking on gut protocol and really trying to decide how I'm healing my body involves you also slowing down. It does. And I know that that can be really hard in our world right now because we've got goals and we've got this and we've got, and I'm preaching to myself right now because I'm in the first week we're starting, I'm still finishing 75 hard. But after I finish 75 hard, I am slowing down my workouts because I know that that's an interior stress. So I wouldn't change your calorie bracket. I would start to ask yourself, what's your big goal right now? You have to get honest with yourself.
Also, Britt, we need to trust Autumn. You know, I mean, we've all already said that when we were baby chatting at the beginning. She created these together and she did it for a reason. And for it coming from a nutritionist and a kick our booty super trainer, she's giving us the reason also, but it's hard. Leah, we hear you, but I think Britt said it perfect. Be mindful.
So those cycle workouts then, because I think at one point, and I can't remember whether I saw it in a video or a post she did, where you could add in the cycle workout on the Wednesday, I think, and make this a 5-day program, or you could you replace the cardio day with one of her cycle workouts. So which, am I right in saying you can add it in on a Wednesday? I swear I thought I saw that somewhere, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. She says that you can add in other forms. And again, you got to watch the videos because she talks about like what you do on the days that you're not working out.
Yeah, I watched it. I just can't remember which day I saw where you could add the cycle workouts in because I thought I was looking at her cycle workouts and they look really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't matter what rest day you added in on. I don't think it would matter, right, guys? Yeah. So yeah, I take it with a grain of salt, right? But this program is going to require you to get your bang for your buck. Autumn even talks about it in hers, that she was eating the right things. She was working out and she was malnourished. Why? Because her body was under way too much stress. So she's bringing this program to us from the trenches of her journey. Okay. So I hope at this point, let me just go back real quick and kind of rattle off the resources that you want to print out. You want to print out the calendar. Okay. If you're making yourself a little to-do list or to-day list, you want to print out the calendar so that you have that in front of you. So you know what workouts you're doing, mindless, right? Number 2, you want to print out, figure out where you can print this if you want, you don't have to, but figure out what container bracket you fit in and know like what this is. And something that's helpful for me is to like cut this out and put that on my fridge. Yeah. So I'm in plan A. So if I cut out plan A, then it's in my face all day, every day. And I know, okay, 6 green, right? Figure out if you're doing the vegan or if you're doing the regular. And I would also print out, you guys, the food list. So maybe you want to print out the container plans just so that you can do the little cut and paste, like I said, but I also printed out my food list. I did both the vegan and the regular because I'm really indecisive right now because we eat fish, and we eat eggs, but I'm just having a hard time deciding which one I'm going to go with. So that's my homework right now, but you can print out the food container list so that when you're making your grocery list or trying to meal plan, you can see if it's on that list or not. Because when you go into Fixate to look for other recipes, there might be things that are in some of those recipes that are not on your food list. And so we have to make sure that this is the holy grail of what we're doing. Okay, so those are so far, you've got your calendar, you've got your bracket, and you've got your container plan bracket, and you've got your container list that you're printing out. In the BOD group, I shared today in the files section, a nice little tracker that you can print out. So I have plan A. So I had 4 of these bad boys printed out, 1 for each week. And at the top, it shows me my hearts. So I know that at a glance, I get 6 green, 4 red, 2 purple, 2 yellow, a blue, an orange, and 3 teaspoons every day. I have a place for me to meal plan my breakfast, my snack, my lunch, my snack, my dinner, and then I can write what workout I'm doing that day. And this by the end of every weekend, this should be filled out and like put in the kitchen somewhere where you're going to have this in your face every day. So you know what to expect. And then you can track your water, okay, each day as well, and see how many ounces you're getting in. So whatever plan you are, there is one of those created for you. So make sure that you go in there, go into the file section in our BOD group. Yes, you're so welcome. And print that out. What am I missing so far? I know we haven't gotten into the actual meal planning yet, but is there anything I'm missing of like the getting started stuff? Okay, let's all take a deep breath. Me especially, because it's a lot. It's a lot, right? And so that's why this is important today. This is why I did not do this call on Sunday night, because you would have no time, right? I wanted to get it to us sooner than later so that you have plenty of time. So if you haven't watched the videos, it's a must. I hope we're realizing right now, when you purchase Gut Protocol, or when your future people purchase Gut Protocol, or when your sister purchases it because she watched you do it, right? Like when the one thing you have to do is watch the videos. Yeah. With Ultimate Portion Fix, it was like you just had to open the booklet and read the booklet and like look at the recipes each week or each day. With this, it's very different because you're going to have to be in the driver's seat of what goes on your tracker. Okay. So we know our brackets. Let me share the screen again, and I'm going to take you to how to find resources for meal planning. So back to Beachbody On Demand and programs. Gut Protocol, you guys, does have recipes in there. So you can click on the meal plans and recipes. One thing I want you to look at and download, another good thing to print off, would be this meal planning toolkit. I'm going to open that up for you guys now. Inside the meal planning toolkit, she's going to tell you about getting started. She's going to talk about meal planning, and she gives 3-day meal plans for each bracket, regular and vegan. Okay. So you want to read through this, but down here, if I'm in bracket A, she's giving a sample of day 1, breakfast, a Fixate breakfast sausage, rolled oats with half a teaspoon of vanilla, pumpkin pie spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon maple syrup, sauteed broccoli, and a teaspoon of olive oil. That gives me a red A, a yellow A, 2 greens, and a teaspoon. So she's already done the math for what it is. I am going to suggest, just like Kristen did, for your very first week, try to stick to something of these 3. Yeah. Try to keep these first 3, just like rotate them, do day 1 twice, day 2 3 times, and day 3 2 times, right? And that'll be your first 7 days. That's what I would suggest. And then you can start to get a little crafty. The other thing to keep in mind in week 1 make sure you make a note of this, is that there are no salads or raw vegetables in week 1. She talks about it in the video, but in order to let our gut kind of just like relax a little bit, she wants all the vegetables to be cooked. So you'll notice that like in the day 2 bracket A, she's given a salad here. You just want to swap that out for something like this option. Yeah. Okay, so here are some options. And then again, you can go down and figure out your bracket. And then down at the bottom, there are the vegan options as well down here. Let's see. Yeah, here's the vegan meal plan options. Okay, so there's one place you can go for meal ideas. The other is to go in and you can look at this 4-week gut protocol approved Fixate recipes. These are ones that are in Fixate and they are approved for gut protocol. So you can use some of these. Recipe videos. If you just click on the recipe videos, you'll see a bunch of different options. This blueberry banana overnight oats already I know is going in my rotation, right? And so if I click on that, before I click on play, I don't really want to watch the video of them making it. I kind of would rather just look at the recipe. Just click that PDF. Did you guys see that? There's like a little PDF here. So when I click on the PDF, then a thing pops up and I can see down here, you want to look at the 4-week gut protocol equivalents, not the portion fix equivalents, unless you're looking at vegan. If you're looking at vegan, then you can look over here. Okay. Because it might, in this case, it's not different, but it might be slightly different in some of them. Okay. So this is a purple, a yellow, a blue, an orange, and a half a teaspoon. And so when you're going through here, let's say that's going to be your breakfast, then you can check off the hearts that you've already used so you know what you have left as you're planning things out. A good rule of thumb, you guys, is to start with things like dinner and then work your way to lunch, work your way to breakfast, and then whatever you haven't used yet, those become your snacks. So like, let's say by the time you're done, you don't have, you need still one more red. So for a snack, you could have Shakeology. Let's say you finish your dinner, your lunch, and your breakfast, and you still have 2 green containers left over. You could do vegetables, right, for your snack. So it's just important. I wouldn't fill in snacks first. I would use those as like the overflow. And then you could also add sides on. So like, let's say you have an extra green, but you've already, filled in everything else. You could put spinach in your Shakeology and hide it in there, and that counts, right? So you can like hide things in or put it as like a side dish. Okay, so this is where you can also find recipes here. There's not a ton here, so let me show you where you can find a ton. It's in body. When you click on body and you scroll down, you're going to see your portion fix. And here, this is the mothership, okay? This is where you want to hang out. This is what's going to be very helpful for you because it's going to take a lot of the guesswork out once it loads. Autumn has given, so there's a lot of new recipes and things like that. But if you scroll down a bit, you can see every month there is a weekly meal plan, a vegan one and a regular one. Okay. I'll click on the regular one and you can see she already has it for you. And she's doing exactly what Kristen said, where she's repeating things. So the breakfast tacos are here multiple times during the week. So you can make a big batch either on Sunday for the whole week, or you could make it on Monday and just have leftovers. Or if you like to make it every day, that's fine too. And then it takes you through. The things I will note though, is when you get to something like here, for example, snack 1 is Greek yogurt and a kiwi. We can't have Greek yogurt on the gut protocol because Greek yogurt is dairy, right? You cannot swap this though for coconut yogurt because coconut yogurt is what color? Who wants to win $1 million? Who remembers what color it was? Yes, Leah, what color?
Oh, it was blue.
Nice. I don't have $1 million to give you. I'm so sorry. It's a thought that counts. Okay. But you can use these ideas, right? So this is going to be very helpful for you. If you're like, I have 0 clue where to start, pull up one that's already made. And look, you guys, you can go back through. If you click on the plus sign here for these meal plans, go back, grab one from February, go back, grab one from January, December, November, like go back. There's one so far back here that you can pull from Yeah. And use these go way, way back. And so if you come into like a stumbling block where you're like, man, I don't know what to put in place of that, because that one will work for gut protocol, you have so many more options here. Same thing with the vegan plans. Okay. Does that help with understanding where to find resources for meal planning?
I think I was messing around with it today too. She's got like, if you pull up any recipe, it's got like little symbols for like GF is gluten free and like all that stuff. She labeled it, I think, GP for gut protocol. Because I pulled up, like, I looked at her list and it's like, okay, this fixate meal is gut protocol approved. So I pulled that up and I saw the new symbol that said GP. So if you go through and you're like, I'm just looking for breakfast stuff, you can click on those and it'll show which ones are gut protocol approved too.
Yeah, absolutely. And not everything has to be, I like everything to be like a meal, like where it feels like a prepared like thing, but you can also pull a la carte sort of situation. So you can do something simple for dinner. If you need a red, you can do salmon with roasted vegetables and some air fried potatoes, like if you want to pull like that, you can just do them simplified and then use your freebies like garlic and spices and whatnot to, to flavor your stuff with. So that is going to be the biggest thing that when I say the biggest thing, it's going to be the most time consuming thing for you. Okay. But the good news is we're cutting back in a lot of other areas, like our workouts are being cut back, right? So maybe it's because you don't have your workout on Saturday morning now, in that time that you would normally be doing the workout, sit down and really dig into this. But you're going to want to have like all your stuff out in front of you. You're going to want to have your computer open so you can look at the recipes. You're going to want to look here. And you guys, the internet is so wide an abyss, right? Like there are so many people out there that have put portion fix recipes out on the internet now to help like people understand like how to combine things and make the containers work. So if you're really stuck, like Leah said, and you find a recipe that you're like, wow, this one really worked and it was delicious, share it with us so that we can add it to our plans in coming weeks. Plan the meals.
One thing that I was going to say too, like for meal planning, you guys, when I started helping my mom, like when we were actually talking about it today, I was like, think about the foods that like you love to eat with your family, or maybe that you crave a lot. So like my mom was saying how she always craves Chinese food. So like, look at the food list and how can you recreate that in a healthier way? So you can have brown rice, but maybe you don't have any yellow containers left. Rice cauliflower, what's going to be your meat for that? And like then add in the vegetables, like get some broccoli. If you're, wanting Mexican, like that's very easy to make like a burrito bowl, like, so think of those kinds of like meals that maybe are on a constant for you guys with families or whatever. And how can you just look at that food list and then recreate in a much healthier way that's going to fit your portion containers? That's another way to kind of look at it if it makes it a little easier.
Yes, that's so helpful. And guys, keep in mind that just like Kristen said, if your game plan is going to be everything. So if you get to Wednesday night and you're starving and you didn't sit down over this weekend, inevitably it's not going to go so well for you. So I always love to consider like, what's future me going to be grateful for? And it might suck out a little bit of your time over the weekend, but by Wednesday, Thursday, when you're like, over it and you can't think or you're tired, you're going to want to have that plan in place and you're going to want to have your fridge stocked with the things. So just like she said, maybe get some extras of some staples that in a pinch you could easily throw together too. Make sure you got cauliflower rice on hand. Make sure whatever simple proteins you can grab from that you buy, maybe buy a couple extras of those so that you can make a simple just chicken and whatever if you need for dinner. But we want to make sure that it's going to take some practice, especially if you've never used the containers before. Who's never used the containers before, like as written, other than like toys for the kids, stackable toys. Yeah. And for me, I usually gravitate towards 2B. So I'm getting back to the containers, so it's going to be a little learning curve as well. All right, guys. So that's our homework. That's basically your homework, is make sure you have your stuff printed out that you need to have printed out. Okay, make sure that you print out this from the file section, remember, so that you can easily sit down, and then you're going to make a meal plan. You're going to get to the grocery store or order some grocery delivery this weekend, and you're going to prep anything that you think would be helpful later on down the road this week. Or if there's things that you just want to batch out and prep. I'm not a fan of prepping the entire week in one swoop. I don't love doing that, but I love having a plan. So at least at its bare minimum, have the plan in front of you, have the food on hand. That way you can, all you have to do is execute it, right? Any other questions of anything that we may have missed that you had pressing on you as you got on this call today that I didn't address?
I am hoping all my stuff will get here. It said it was supposed to get here today and it's not. So I am keeping my fingers crossed. So I guess if it doesn't get here by Monday, of course, I don't have to have the optimize and revitalize. If I don't have it on Monday, I can just pick it up whichever day that I get it.
Yep.
And should it be a full day though? So like if I get it on Monday afternoon, should I take the 2 before dinner then, or should I just wait till the next day and start it from the beginning?
I'd start when you get it.
Okay.
The revitalize is just for breakfast. So you could start that one the following day. But yeah, if you get it midday and you have time, just remember you guys, the ones before meals are 20 minutes before your meal. So like if you're a person that you eat breakfast right before or right when you wake up and get out the door, then the first thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning is have some water and take those supplements so that you have the 20-minute buffer there. And same thing if your lunch break is at noon and you're going to eat right away at noon, maybe set a timer for 11:30 so that you can take your 2 little vitamins and be ready by the time lunchtime comes. So again, it takes just a little bit of prep work and planning ahead.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because I'm doing the supplements. Jeremy is not doing the supplements because I don't know how we didn't have time to check with his doctor on how it would interfere with his medicines and all that mess. So we'll have 2 different results in the same household. So that'll be interesting.
Popping pills. No, taking vitamins. I love it. Any other questions that we did not touch or address? Almond milk and Shakeology. I believe that it's an 8 ounce. You'll have to look at the food list again for that. That one might be under, let me look at the food list.
I think it's on the Shakeology basis.
I think
It
it's
should tell.
almond milk.
It's 8 ounces is a teaspoon for the Shakeology base is what I have here.
Yeah, it's under teaspoons, Chelsea. Okay. So when you go to the oils, nut butters, teaspoon category, you'll see unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened coconut milk, unsweetened cashew milk, macadamia nut milk. You'll see all those there. Those count as the teaspoons.
Herbal tea, was that one that we had to limit somehow? Was that like one a day?
I think it was mainly like the caffeine is what you want to make sure that you limit. And then the green tea you can have as long as it's uncaffeinated. So it depends on if it's caffeine or not, I guess.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of my
Oh.
herbal teas are not caffeinated at all.
And Leah, if you look at this one, this one paper in moderation, coffee and tea.
Yeah.
Where it's right at the top. It
Okay.
says, but don't consume more than a total of 200 milligrams of caffeine a day. So in that one paragraph, she's put that
Okay.
right out
Yeah,
there for
I have
us.
them in the other room. I just forgot to grab them.
The herbal teas, it says you may still drink 1 to 2 cups of decaffeinated unsweetened tea a day as well. So you can have 1 or 2 cups of your decaf tea.
Yep.
If you want to change something up. Perfect.
Bridgerton's coming out tomorrow
And
and my grandma and I have to have tea.
Jennifer, it says unsweetened in the under the teaspoon. Yeah. So plain unsweetened for that. Okay. Any other questions? Sorry, I'm trying not to do too much chit chat because this is recorded. And so I don't want it to be like random stuff. I'm trying to keep us focused on track. Any other questions, guys?
I think you were very thorough and to the point. This is huge. It gives us several days to really process, to go back, rewatch the videos with questions, ask them in the group, just do our thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, just like they started out saying at the beginning, that together we're better, and that this is your community, that even though we might be the leaders on the daily post, that when you find something that's working, you share it. When you have a question about something, you ask it, because that's what we're here for. I'm so grateful, just like Annie said, that you guys chose to pilot this with us. Like, to me, that's leadership already. When the iPhone comes out, I am not an early adopter. I want to see that there's no glitches. I want to make sure that it works. I want to see that people actually like it. But when something in Beachbody comes out, I am an early adopter. I'm the one that's pitching my tent out front, and I will be there when it's on sale, because I believe in this company, and I've seen the results over and over and over again. And I love them for my life, and I love them for your life too. So I'm just really grateful to wrap up tonight, just so you know, that you guys said yes to being part of something that you're like, I don't really know the answers yet. Because imagine your story, imagine, your journey right now, your imperfect journey, because we're all going to have a moment where we're like, oh gosh, what was that about? Right. We're going to have learning moments where we can learn from our missteps. But through that, imagine the person that says yes in a month and comes into the sisterhood and says, okay, somebody help me. Can I have unsweetened, almond milk, or can I have vanilla? And Jennifer's gonna be like, I got you, girl. I've done this, right? Like, we're going to be able to be that person for someone else because you chose to say yes, even without all the answers in front of you guys. So I'm so grateful for that. We are on this journey together to just kind of learn and grow together and see, like you said at the very beginning, how we feel, how we come away from this feeling. There are some journals. I didn't show you those resources. There are journal pages that you can print off as well. And you can document your mood, your sleep, your bowel movements, all the things, and just really document how you're progressing throughout the journey. If you don't want to print those out, I would consider having some sort of journal that you do write in daily, at least at the end of the day, to reflect on, where you're at, because this really is different. It's not about, there's going to be external results. I know that for a fact, but I know there's going to be a lot of stuff happening internally as well. So I think that's going to be huge for us. So, all right, ladies, it was a long one tonight, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time with me, and I'm going to get this recording to everybody else's hands. You guys can check it out again, but do the videos, watch the videos, ask the questions, print off the things, and get ready this weekend so that we can dive in strong on Monday. Cool. Awesome.